This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi. Welcome back. This is Rajesh Para again. So, the continuation of the video, which is nothing but the logics, the decision making statements, which is we are calling it as the other name is also called as conditional statements as well. Right. So here, in the previous session, we already discussed about if statement, and a few more if statements that was being reminded here. So I'm going to be go through on those kind of if statements. Okay. So today the thing here is that we can able to see here the logic of an if statement, man. The logic of an if statement. Okay. So the logic of an if statement here is statement, if else statements. Okay, so you can able to see that. See the first if statement, from there onwards, then the condition has to be followed. If is a syntax, then it has to follow with the, if is a keyword, then it has to, within the brackets, it has to follow with the condition. The condition becomes, if it is true, then it will execute the if body. If it is false, then it will execute the else body. Okay, so finally both the things has to, either this one or that one has to be either true or false. Either any one of it has to be executed and it will go to the stop now. So let us see now. See the if else statement takes care of the true. That is sometimes as if block is also called as true block. There the else block is also called as false block. Okay, so this is what the syntax that we can able to come to see. So if within the bracket, the syntax is if is the keyword, within the brackets the condition, the statement of the block that we are calling it as if the true block. Then else, the statements that we are existing inside this one, we are calling it as an else block. So or the false block also we may call it as. But if the condition is true, the statement is executed. If the condition is true, the statement is executed. Execute the if block. That is nothing but the true block. If the condition is becomes false, then it will go on skip this if block and it will move to the else block. So the else block, which is something but the whatever the block that was in, we are calling it as a false block. That's what. So condition is false only, then it will go to the else block. Otherwise, it will not. This is how that syntax was been performed. An example of an if else statement here is that simply we can able to say that. See, void main. I'm going to take it as the age is a variable. Enter the age. It was going to be printed on your screen. Then the scanf, I'm going to take in the age of the value, passing on your command prompt. So if age is, yeah, that is what the syntax. See, if bracket age is greater than or equal to 55, then if this condition is true, then what it will do, the printf person is retired. Else, if the condition becomes false, then it will print what mean person is not retired. So let us say that the age is nothing but 60. So if the age is 60, then what will happen when the age is a variable that was holding the value, which is nothing but 60 now. So it was came to here now, the if else block. So what does it says? If 60 age is greater than or equal to 55, does 60 is greater than or equal to 55? True. Then immediately what it will do, print the person is retired. Let us assume like if the age that was given here is 45, then what will happen? 45 is, if 45 is greater than or equal to 55, no, false. So what it will do, it will directly go to the else block. That means the false block. So then person is not retired. That's what it will print. Okay, so this is how if else statement was being conducted, right? And one more thing here is, so you can see that the nested if statements, man. So in the nested if statements, the statement executed a if body. The simple words I can able to say, an if body consisting of another if statement, we are calling it as a nested if. Okay, let us see now. See, the if statement is this one. Okay, the if statement. So within that if statement, I have a condition. If keyword, within the brackets, I have a condition. So within that if body, if the condition is true, then it will go on executing the nested if statement. Okay, then another inner condition is there, inner if statement is there. Then it will go on. If it is true, then it will execute the statement and it will come out of it. If the condition is false, see, this is the first if statement that has the condition is 1, and within that if statement we have another if statement. Okay, so that is also having some second condition, inner condition is there. So that is also condition if. Okay, so then true, it will execute the statement 1, otherwise it will go on executing the statement 2. So otherwise, if the first condition itself false, it can't able to move to the second condition. Then immediately what it will do, it will simply go to the stop. Okay, so this is what we can able to say that nested if statements. Let us see a simple example. That one here is, see, the void main of int a company. So scanf, I am going to taking two values, a and as well as b value. Okay, if what I said meant, if a is greater than b, so that means what about this program here is I'm finding out the greatest of three numbers, man, nothing more than that. Okay, so if a is greater than b, then within that if this condition is true, then what will happen if a is greater than c? Then I'm going to checking with b and as well as the a. This then is true, then I'm going to writing one more if condition inside it. So this is what nested if we are calling it as. That's what I told you within the technical terms. An if statement, an if body, or the if block, an if block consisting of another if statement, then we are calling it as a nested if. Okay, so that's what see. Let us see now. So a is greater than b, then if this condition is true, then coming inside into it, a is greater than c. Okay, if this condition is also true, then what we are trying to printing, that means it makes sense that a is greater than b and a is greater than c also. So that's what a is greater. Okay, else if not, what will happen? Then print b is greater. Okay, then print b is greater, right? And I'm using the else block also. So if after this one, if the condition is false, then where should I have to go for else block, right? Then within the else block, we already checked that a is greater than b or a is greater than c. That makes sense that if both if this condition is false, then what does it say? A is not into the consideration. Then what are the remaining values that we have? So we have only the c and b. So it will go on checking that if if c is greater than b, then print c is greater, else b is greater. This is how it was go on executing that. Okay, so and one more thing here is and one more thing here is else if later. So else if later, in this else if later, you can simply say that if you want to go on giving the conditions where it was going to be matched. Okay, so let us see now. The first one here is else if condition. Else if is a keyword and it has to follow with the condition. Okay, else if is a keyword. That means you can able to see everything it as arrow. Else if it has to follow with the condition, right? So if the condition becomes false, then it will move to the second else if condition. That means condition 2. If that condition is also becoming false, it will move to the third condition, and so on. N number of else if conditions you can able to write in that. Okay, but finally we can able to go on for writing that else. So the default statement. So finally else you can directly blindly print whatever the else block is consisting of. Okay, so this is how we can able to perform the things, man. Okay, so let us see now else if ladder. That is what the else if ladder we can able to see m1, m2, and m3. The average and total that I am going to be ending it. Total is equal to m1 plus m3 plus m. Okay, average is equal to total by 3. If average is greater than or equal to 75, first if I find out the marks taken as an input, and I'm trying to finding out the total marks inside into it. Okay, so once I find out, once the total marks was been find out, then I can say right, once the marks was been make it as a sum, then we can able to go with the total number of marks that was calculated and taking it as an average. So finally if the average is greater than or equal to 75, we don't know what is the situation it was going to be happening. marks. Okay, so depends on the marks that was being provided, it was going to be calculated, the averages, right? So we can't know what it is, but the condition here is whether if he came into the particular criteria, if it is greater than 75, then he has to go to the distinction. Okay, otherwise, if he is having a mark which is nothing between the 60 and 75, then he may go for first class. Then 50 to 60, he may go for second class. And for less than 50, then shortly he may say that he is in fail. Okay, so if this is type of the situation that we can able to come up, then we can say that, see, that means there are multiple conditions are there, depends on the value that has to be displayed the messages, right? So the average is greater than or equal to 75, then we can able to say that printf, which is nothing but distinction. Okay, if not, else if the condition becomes false, then it has to move over to the another condition, whether he has been fall into this criteria. 60 is average is greater than or equal to 60 and less than 75, then we can able to say which is nothing but first class. If this condition is also false, might be he may goes to average is greater than or equal to 50 and average is less than 60, then he has to go for second class. If not all these things, then we can able to else one more condition is also there. If it is less than 50, then he has to go for the fail. So this is how we can able to go on with switch case. I mean, if else statements, man. Okay, so this is how we can able to go on using this kind of things. Actually, the last one here is the switch statement. So the switch statement is providing with a switch is a keyword that has to follow with the condition, whether it is an expression or whatever it is. The case matches is going to be case 1, case 2, case 3. Case is a keyword and give the space and value is the 1. Okay, so if it is the case 1 is true, then it is based on the value that was provided here in the condition itself, it was go on matching with that case is a keyword and give the space and 1. Okay, the statement, whatever the statement it is there, then it will go on executed and it will come out of it. Okay, depends whichever the case that was gone match, then it will execute that particular logic, the block of that particular case, then we can immediately come out of it. Okay, so this is how the statements will be executed. The switch statement, see, this is what the switch is a keyword, it has to follow with the expression or whatever the value that we're going to pass in. So case is a keyword, then value that you're going to providing either 1 or you can able to provide two kinds of things. Whether floating values will not be allowed in switch statements, only we can able to see this kind of statements actually. Okay, so only integers and characters we can able to go with. So this is what. So switch is the case, wherever the case that was going to be matched, then we can able to start go on executing that particular case and we can able to go for it. Okay, so this is what the switch statements actually. Okay, so this is all about this class, man.